Flosstube friends. I am Christy. I am the Crosshatch Quilter. I am back here today on Sunday, February 23rd, 2025 for Flosstube number 36. I hope this video finds you well and you are enjoying your stitching and crafting on this beautiful Sunday. It is starting to creep into spring weather. We have just been getting blue skies and just a fresh breeze in the air. It's definitely still cold, but it's warming up. I think it's supposed to be in the 50s later this week. So that is very exciting. So I am starting to crave all of the flower stitching, all of the florals and spring colors and just happy colors. I have three finishes to share with you today, some WIPs, a plethora of new starts. I thought I would do a spring WIP parade of all of my spring starts that I've done in the past that I have to choose from to work on, and a little bit of Happy Mail. So let's get started. My first finish that I have to share with you today is a start and a finish. After my last video, I just didn't quite have the stitching, the Christmas stitching out of my veins yet. So I started a part of the 12 Days of Christmas by Stacy Nash. And I had the idea that I wanted to just stitch the Merry Christmas and the deer down here and put it onto a spool. I still intend on stitching the entire chart on this, but I just thought how fun it would be to stitch just that part. So I started it with Schoolhouse Red by Gloriana, favorite red, and I started and completed it. I just put like a thread in a day, every day when I would start my stitching for the day. And I stitched this on 36 count vintage pear. It was just a scrap piece that I had left over. And I'm super excited to get it fully finished onto a spool so that I can, you know, mix that in with my Christmas stitching or Christmas displays this coming year. Super love it. And it was a really fun stitch. It's always a pleasure to stitch on with silks on Lakeside linens. So I was excited that I had the perfect little scrap piece to fit that. But that is Merry Christmas, or I mean, that's the 12 Days of Christmas by Stacy Nash, and it's a sewing roll. And I'm going to, I hope to start this year as well. I really enjoy all of Stacy's little sewing roll pockets. Then my next finish is Key to My Heart by Brenda Gervais. And I started this piece with my good friend Kim, the stay-at-home quilter, and Jordan, the tattooed stitcher. And they both finished long before I did. I just finished this 2 days ago, and then I fully finished it yesterday. But it is still February. I stitched it with most of the called for threads, and most of them are just DMC, and then there's just a couple overdyes in there. I stitched this on just a scrap piece of bisque linen by Lakeside Linens, and I absolutely love the way that it turned out. Oh, Brenda's patterns are my favorite. So lovely for Valentine's Day. I'm going to probably leave this out. My daughter is going to the Sweethearts dance here on March 1st. So I think I'm going to leave up all of my Valentine stitching until after her dance is over so that I can take pictures with her in front of her, all of the Valentine decor and my quilt in the front entryway. But I really enjoyed stitching this. I just love the birds and all of the little florally doodads and back stitching there. It just makes it look so feminine and pretty. And then I finished it with some Lady Dot chenille trim that I finished the Love Notes from Brenda Gervais on my previous video. I just finished it the same way. It matches the 347 just perfectly. So, and I noticed that Sean with Periwinkle Stitcher did the same thing, and hers is so cute as well. I put a little bit of French General fabric on the back, just like Sean's, but mine's a different fabric. with those little cute butterflies. Has the red, the pinky red, and the blue notes in it, so I thought it worked perfectly for this. And I get a lot of questions about how I finish my pillows. And what I do is I sew all the way around and I leave about a 2 or 3 inch gap at the bottom. I always do it on the bottom unless the side would work better for that particular project. And I fill the corners with stuffing. You could also use some leftover like yarn or polyfill. So I just do that, and then the rest of it I stuff with sawdust. And I've had several questions on where I buy my sawdust. I am not lucky enough to have a woodworker in my life, so I purchase mine on Etsy. And if you just Google or if you just search sawdust for crafting on Etsy, it'll pull up a couple makers on there. So anyway, I love this finish. This was a lot bigger stitch than it looks. I thought that I was going to be able to get this thing done pretty quickly. It took me a lot longer than I originally anticipated, but I love it. So I'm excited to have that. And I've never stitched Valentine's Day or Valentine's stitching until this year, and I've really enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to adding to my Valentine's display each year. That will be super fun. And my friend Kim, we stitched that together as well as Jordan, but Kim sent me these cute little cutter quilt hearts to go with it, and they're so cute displayed with my little Valentines. I forgot to show them last time. I also got some Christmas gifts in the mail from friends that are stitching related, and I didn't show them last time and I forgot, and now they're packed away, so I'll have to show them next year. But those are super cute. I love them. Cutter quilt finishes like this are super sweet. Okay, and then my last fully finish, and it's my favorite one. I am so excited about it, and I could not wait to get it finished. I stitched on this like a crazy lady. I just was like a horse drawn to the barn, and I was monogamously stitching on this until it was done. And it was my main stitch for January and part of February. And that is Quaker Christmas Stocking by Kathy Barrick. I absolutely loved stitching this so much. And I originally was going to take the Merry Christmas off, and then I just decided not to. And I'm so glad I didn't, because Kathy Barrick has now released another companion to go along with this. They're the exact same size. If you go watch hers and Liz Matthews' video, they show them together. And I wanted it to be the full size, and I'm going to still keep this out year round though in my bedroom. I will put a video in at the end of this video of how I have this displayed, but I just fully finished it according to the directions on the chart. I put a great big huge button on there because that's what I had that matched. This is a little bit of Shoreline fabric from Camille Ross Kelly. I thought that it highlighted the dark blue and the light blue on the front. Actually, this is black, but it still works. Absolutely, this was such a fun stitch. I just have really enjoyed working on different cross stitches that I can finish myself at home instead of just everything being framed. And I'm just completely addicted to stockings now. So she has a new one, like I said, being released at market that is called Quaker Houses, and it still has the swan on it, but it integrates homes in there. And so I'm really excited to get this, the next one stitched and displayed as well with that. So I can't say enough good things about these stockings. I love, love, love them. I have, speaking of stockings by Kathy Barrick, I have another one started. And so I'm really excited to have both the new Quaker House stocking and this other Quaker stocking all displayed together. I think they'll look great together. So I am doing this color way, which is just the blues and the mustard. And I'm just stitching it with the MPI Silks. There's only 3 colors. I have them in floss way bags, so you're not gonna be able to see them really well, but there's a yummy mustard color, and then a lighter blue, and then a really dark midnight navy blue. And I just have a little start, but I am stitching this on 40 count Old Sheep by XJU Design. And that is just my little start. So I definitely am going to have a lot of stocking stitching this year. It's my new favorite thing. My family doesn't understand it. They're like, why do we have stockings year round around the house? But that's okay. That's okay. Nobody needs to understand it but me. I beat to my own drum, but I think that the rest of you guys understand that. So I'm glad that I have some good company. Okay, let me clean up my little finishes here. All right. And then I have a lot of WIPs and starts. I thought I would show you my starts first. So last time we talked, and Tara Sullivan with Solely Stitches had started a SAL. It was called the Stand-Up SAL for the Super Bowl. And you could stitch any stand-up that you would like, Stacey Nash or things by Teresa Kogut or other makers. I chose to join in on the SAL, and I wanted to stitch Maggie May. She is absolutely adorable and so sweet. I am stitching it with all of the called for threads. And here is my start. So I am stitching this on 36 count Latte by Fiber on a Whim. And all the called for threads are so cute. I just love Stacy's colors. And Maggie May could not be sweeter. So I just have fill-in stitching left, which I have saved for either Zoom calls or stitching in person with a friend. And I just absolutely love her. She is going to be the sweetest. And I can see many more bunnies from the Animal Cracker series in my future. I've stitched Whitaker, which is the snowman, but it would be so fun to have all of the bunnies in a dough bowl with all of my other Easter stitches for Easter and spring. So that's probably what I'll be trying to focus on this year for Easter stitching, but we'll see. I can always change my mind. Okay, so another start that I told you I wanted to stitch last time is Oh Lucky Day, and it's by Brenda Gervais with I Needle and Thread. And I'm stitching it with all of the called for threads, which are DMC. And when I pulled the colors, there were so many greens in there, but they all work fantastically together. So here's the first one. I don't have this finished yet. I still need to do the satin stitching and the back stitching on this one. And then the next one, Top of the Morning to Ya. Again, I just need to do the satin stitching over the 4-leaf clover and the back stitching, or the back stitching of the stem. And then here is the last one, and I'm almost finished with him. He has a little bit of gold stitching Krynic in there, and I'm just on this last arch, and then a couple little doodads here and there. So I'm really close to a finish. I want to get this finished and fully finished by March 1st so that I can decorate for St. Patrick's Day. So that is a little fun, like snack size stitching. As always, Brenda is just knocking it out of the park with all of her seasonal patterns that she has. And then my next start, I will insert a picture here because I just have a PDF and my printer was out of color print ink. And this is Quaker Dwelling. I'm just all about the Quakers lately. I have wanted to stitch this for a very long time, and I just hadn't pulled the trigger because I'm like, no, I have so many house house cross stitches in my WIPs. I don't need another house, but I really do. I mean, that's what I love, and so there's no shame in it, and I'm just gonna go with it. But I was talking with my friend Jordan and Vanessa. Vanessa is Flame Fingers on Instagram, and Jordan is a tattooed stitcher, and we were talking about this chart, and we all loved it and have wanted to stitch it. So we are doing a stitch along, and here is my start so far. So I've wanted to start this ever since I saw Sherry Colorado Stitcher start this, and she stitched it on this beautiful Havana by Weeks Dye Works. This is 36 count, and this is the Zweigart base, which makes it so much easier to stitch on with this dark linen. I had started it on a piece that wasn't Zweigart, and I couldn't even see the linen threads. But here is all of the yummy colors. I think that they look amazing on the Havana. It's just dark and dirty. So there is my little start, and I cannot wait to get back to this. Those colors just sing on this linen. So it'll be fun to watch Jordan and Vanessa's progress as well. I think they've chosen different linens than I have, and they are all incredible choices. So then I was just starting Fiend this month. What I do in my stitching rotation and plans that has helped me kind of to stay focused this last year is at the beginning of each month, I make a list, and I call it my WIP rotation for that, or my stitching rotation for that month. And I can pick up things and set them down, and pick up something else and set them down. But as long as I'm rotating just through those, like say I've chosen 6 WIPs to work on, or 6 starts, or whatever, 6 projects to work on, as long it helps my squirrel infestation to still have something new to work on if I get bored with a certain stitch and I want to set it down for a few days and then work on something else, then I just rotate back and get back to the other project. And that's how I've been getting these smalls finished. I'll start one and then I'll get sick of it for a couple, I wanted something new. And so I'll work on a bigger project and then I'll go back to the small and finish it up for the month. And it's just so fun to check off my little list. And then, each month I can create a new list with new starts. It's not, so I just can't be a monogamous stitcher. But this helps me to rein in the crazy just a little bit. So my next start, I had shown you that I wanted to get started on this. And this is To Quote Shakespeare with my needle and thread. And so here's my little start. These are all the called for colors. They're very Valentine-y. A lot of pinky reds and yummy, spring greens. So I thought it was the perfect stitch to start for February, but I will leave this up year round. It is just, a sampler type. It'll look so cute mixed in with samplers. And then this little hoop in here is all stitched over one. But it says, and in a tedious sampler, she sewed her mind. Absolutely love it. I'm stitching this on the called for 36 count light exemplar by Lakeside Linens. Super fun. I noticed that Nicole from Nicole's Needlework, she did a new video, and she, I think is going to start this as well. And so is Red Velvet Quilts. So hopefully they will get started on those as well. All right, I'm not done with my new starts. I went crazy this year. Last month. This next one is housed in my Lori Holt bag, which I love. It is a gingham pattern that I just stitched out of her Farm Girl Vintage 2 book and turned it into a bag. And I started this with Lori on her birthday, and that is Americana Blue. And this is by October House. And I have seen this stitched with the blue threads, and it was so tempting because you guys know how much I love my blue colorway. But Nicole Spore She stitched it in January as her blessing sampler and in this blue color, and it is fantastic. So if you haven't seen that, go check it out. It is so pretty. But with all of the sewing themes on this, I decided, sorry, that's not even in a pack. It's not even in a wrapper and it's still shiny. But with all of the sewing themed motifs on there, I decided that I wanted it up here in my sewing room, and my sewing room is more fall colors. And so I decided that red would be the smartest to go with for this room. And so here is my start. I'm stitching it with, of course, Schoolhouse Red, which is my favorite red, by Gloriana Silks. And this is a piece of Dusty Road by Seraphim Fabrics, 36 count. And there is my little start. And I had so much fun starting that with Lori. We just FaceTimed and put in a few stitches while we were chatting on her birthday. But I love it on this linen. It's going to be so pretty. I, as you know, have fallen in love with monochromatic stitching, and so it's just fun to put a strand in a day. I have several going now, and I plan on starting one more. So I will not be for a lack of monochromatic stitching. I just remembered that I forgot to, at the intro of this video, to talk about this quilt behind me. So we'll take a break and talk about this for a second. I've had a lot of questions on my last video, and I meant to mention it, and it just, you know, my brain, it kind of goes on pause when you're doing these videos. But this quilt behind me is called Be My Neighbor, and it is a free pattern by Moda Fabrics. It is still on their website, and I will link it below so that you can find it easily. But it was a fun stitch along that I did with a group of friends a few years ago, and some of them live here in Utah, some live in Idaho, at the time California. I think she's moved to Arizona now, and even clearer to Tasmania, Australia. And we were making blocks. Oh, Wyoming as well is the friend group. And we were making blocks, and we just had a block assigned to all of us. So like, I think I made this block right here and another one. And you'd make your 2 blocks for every lady and then ship them off. And then in return, in the mail, you would receive all the other blocks. We just had a color theme, or not color theme. We had a designer of fig tree fabrics was our only rule, that you used fig tree fabrics, and we used the fig tree cream for the background so that everyone's blocks and pieces would all, you know, marry well together. So it has so many wonderful memories attached to that, and I love it. So that is Be My Neighbor by Moda. Okay, now the rest of my projects that I have to share with you are WIPs that I worked on. This was a new start last time, and that is Christmas at Hawk Hollow. I've got it housed in my Santa bag, my Santa portfolio, and here is Christmas at Hawk Hollow. I've been wanting to start this for a few years, and I've had it kitted for probably 3 or 4. And every year I'm like, you know, if I would have just started with 1 block and continued on, then I would have had 3 or 4 blocks done by now. And after seeing Sean, the periwinkle stitcher, start that, and she mentioned she's going to do like a block, you know, each Christmas, or I'm like, you know what, why haven't I been doing that? So I decided to pick this up and start it. And I started with this block here. I'm stitching it with all of the called for MPI silks. They're super yummy. And here is where I got to. I didn't 100% finish the block, but I got pretty close. I've just got a tiny bit left of the fill-in on this flower, and then I just need to do a few more of the peacock's feathers and his nose, or his beak. I love it so much. Hawk Hollows, as most of you know, they look simple. Like that looks like a pretty simple, easy, fast stitch. there is a lot of hours into that block already. They're small, but they are mighty. And I'm stitching this with 36 count light exemplar by Lakeside Linens, which is, I believe, the called for. I think the called for is 40 count, but so here's my thought process on 36 versus 40. I love the way that 40 count linen looks as far as the coverage. But if it's a full coverage block, or there's like, say there's a great big house in a project and it's all fill in, solid stitching, I will usually do 36 just because it's a little bit faster of a stitch for me. I can run my needle in there faster, and it's just, I'm not cramming, you know, a bunch of thread in. And I know that, you know, a lot of people stitch with 40 count solid stitching, but for me, it's more comfortable on just the 36 count. So that's what I have done, is chosen the 36 on that. I do love 40 count, and I've been, I put in a few stitches on my 46 count project, Alice Clark, this month, but I don't have enough progress to show you yet. But I love 46 count as well. For some reason, it almost, I don't know how to explain it, but it almost feels just as the same as 40 count. There's not that much of a difference, especially if you're using like 103s. Anyway, I got on a tangent, sorry. My next WIP that I have to show you is Let Love Rain by Teresa Kogut. Absolutely love this piece. It is so big. It's gonna take me forever. I always think I'm gonna get more done than I do, but she's just huge. I'm stitching this on 40 count XJU Designs Grandma's slip with all of the called for DMC. I did add a dark blue, and it is 924. Let me just double check that really quick. Yep, 924. And I had a few questions last time on that, because I mentioned it last time as well that I've added a blue. And the question was, where exactly am I adding it? I have just chosen sporadically here and there where I've decided. So like up here on these flowers, I did one the darker blue and one lighter. Same over here. And then these flowers on the side, I did the blue with them with a lighter. And then I did the darker blue in the middle flower. All of these dividing bands, I've done the darker blue in it. And then this moth. But I'm just choosing as I go. There's no rhyme or reason to it. I'm only adding the blue to replace a different blue. I'm not, you know, I'm not replacing any of the other colors with the blue. So this time around, I worked on this flower pot, and then I decided that I really wanted to get the bones of the border in. And oh my word, I had to stitch this 3 separate times to get the border to match. It is a bear, and I don't normally have as much trouble with border stitching, but this one gave me fits. So it's done now. It matches up. It's the way it's supposed to be. And then I worked on this dividing band as well, and then just the inner border. So that was a lot of stitching, but it doesn't look like a whole lot. Absolutely can't wait. Can't wait to get this one done. I'm excited. I think that I will order a frame for it so that now that I've got the the border done, I can measure it and order a frame so that when I do get it done, I can get it up on my wall immediately. So that is Let Love Rain. And then my very last WIP, I think it's my very last, better make sure. Got a pile here. Okay, so my very last WIP, I have it housed in my Camille Ross Kelly bag with those great big mums. I think they're mums. So pretty. And that is A Shepherd's Song by Plum Street Samplers. And I am stitching this with Jordan, the tattooed stitcher, and I also have had a few friends join me along the way, which is exciting. So I can't wait to watch several of your progress as you go. I stitched mine I'm stitching mine with the over dyed threads with the thread conversion that I talked about last time on my video. However, Jordan ordered the silk conversion with my blue changes, but she had Vicky Clayton change the conversion to silks. And so it's still, you can order that through Vicky Clayton or the regular version as well, of course. And here is where I'm at so far. I decided to bring the border all the way down. So this is as tall as it is. And then I started working on this little sheep. I worked on a little bit more of this flower. I filled in the flowers here. And then I finished the words. And I decided to do the outline of the house so that I have just nice comfort fill-in stitching when it's called for, when I either don't feel good and I just don't want to count, or when I'm chatting with friends. I absolutely love this. It is being stitched on 36 count vellum by Picture This Plus. And it's so springy, and I just love the florals. I love the pink version as well. This just goes a little bit better in my house. And I love the blues with the mustard yellows that are in this. Definitely just a very calming and relaxing color palette. So there is that. I have one more work in progress that I gave a tiny bit of love to. I just barely picked it up, I believe last night or the night before that, and started working on it. And that is being housed in my Lella Boutique bag. Love those yummy browns and blues. And that is Harvest Friendship. I started this as a stitch along with some friends in the fall, and I fell off of the bandwagon. So I'm back at it now. And I'm stitching this with all of the called for threads. I have them put on my little milk thread floss drops. And this is my progress so far. So I worked on the words, and I started working on the pumpkin. So literally I only have about an hour's worth of stitching into this, but I'm going to work on this each month, little by little, so that hopefully by fall time we can get it finished. I think our November was our goal. So I'm anxious to get back to this. This is being stitched on 36 count French Vanilla by R&R Reproductions. Love it on that linen. So with spring here, I just, you know, I have been trying to make up my list for March stitching, for my stitch rotation that I make up each month, and then I just try to stick to it. And I, of course, will still work on the starts that I showed you, but I have, I thought it would be fun to show you all of my spring WIPs. So we'll do a little WIP parade. I have quite a few. I started quite a few last spring, and then when my dog passed away, I just didn't feel like stitching for a long time. So not some of these got just a start, a tiny start, and then didn't receive any love. But I intend on getting back to them. One of my bags here, I've got, that is Nantucket Summer by Camille Ross Kelly. And in this bag, I've got Spring Hollyberry Farm. I started this last year. I gave it just a tiny little start. I kind of was having a conundrum on what linen to choose, but I think that I found a winner. I really wanted, let's go back to the chart for a second. I really wanted this white house to pop, and I'm not going to stitch the cat. I have a lot of people I've seen stitch just like a beehive, a bee skep right there. Sandy from Whispered Stitches did that. I believe Dying to Stitch has it up on their wall with a bee skep as well. And then I noticed that Olivia from Pumpkin Hollow Quilts, she is working on this and hers is gorgeous. And she did the same thing. So I'm going to follow suit on that because I'm not really a cat person. I love them, but I'm allergic to them. So here is the colors. They're very, you know, that's what spring in my part of the world looks like. Very brown and just a little bit of color. You know, the earth is just starting to wake back up, or all the trees and plants. And really, I mean, I just went on a walk yesterday and looking out my window, and this is what outside right now looks like to me where I live. So I wanted that white house to pop. So what I did is I chose to put this on Havana. I still have all my needles and threads hanging there, sorry. That's my tiny little start. But I love it. It's muted, and I love how the blues just pop on there. And I think that the white house and the sheep will look really pretty on this linen. So there's my tiny start. That is one of my options to work on this month. I don't know what I'll pick, but that's one of them. It's fun to have seasonal WIPs. As you know, that's what I do. And it doesn't bother me to let them languish and roll on to the next year. They'll just be waiting for me when I'm ready. This next one is housed in my Lori Holt Farm Girl Vintage. This is one of my favorite bags. And this is just some yummy, yummy florals. Can't wait to get back to this. I started it and then I kind of set it aside to start Let Love Rain, but it's very florally and very spring to me. And that is Remember Me by Teresa Kogut. I started this on the anniversary of my mom's death. So I thought that that would be a sweet piece to remember her by. And I'll probably put her birth date in the vase there, the flower pot. And I am stitching this with a color conversion as per usual. I switched just the couple pinks in there, which I think there's only like two blues. So there's a dark blue and a light blue. Very, you know, another spring looking pattern, or spring colors, I mean. And here's my progress so far. This is being stitched on 36 count platinum by Zweigart. And I just love it. But super pretty. I will definitely get that finished one day. It's just gotta find extra hours in the day, right? Okay, so then my next project, I have this in a Camille, or this is Bonnie and Camille fabric. I loved the measuring tape up here. I don't remember what this line is called, but I've got a couple projects in here. I've got a WIP, a tiny little start, I should say, and then one I want to start. I'll show you both. But this is another Stacy Nash, of course. And I absolutely, look at that chart. Look at the floral border, classic for her. And this is called Be Kind Sampler. And I love it, love it, love it. The saying on it says, be kind to one another. This is a world of care, and there's enough of needful woe for everyone to bear. And I'm stitching it with the called for threads, classic Stacy colors, very pretty. And here is my little start. So I really wanted those flowers to pop on this linen. And this is, I don't even know if I have, oh, I do. This is a Boreal 36 count, and this is by Cedar River Linens. So I really am happy with the way that that is going to pop on that linen. Really yummy. Oh, I can't wait till all these are done because they'll just make the most awesome spring wall, won't they? I love having a good seasonal wall. It just makes me happy. And then in this same bag, I have a start that I want to get started. And I've had it kitted for a couple years, and springtime is the best time to start this, I'd say. That is Wildflowers by Kathy Barrick. Absolutely love this. And it is, I have, it took me a while to find the called for threads, because sometimes, you know, Gloriana silks go out of stock and they don't, it takes a while for them to get back in stock. But this is Seaweed by Fox and Rabbit. Just another dark and dirty linen. And those are the called for colors. So it really just, the light colors of the wildflowers really pop on that dark linen. Can't wait to get this started. Did a few stitches in on that. I've got to put all the projects back, or I will be even more confused than I already am when this video's over. Next bag, another Bonnie and Camille. And I don't even know what's in here. Oh, yes. I missed this project. I haven't worked on it for a year or two. Floral Motif by the Scarlet House. And I've got all the called for overdyed threads. They're very pretty. And another dark and dirty linen. I have a theme for spring, apparently. I don't even know if it was on purpose, but it just happened. But this is a 36 count Vintage Autumn Gold by Lakeside Linens. And I love how the colors pop on that. So anxious to put some love into these. They deserve it. They have, some of them have sat dormant for way too long. And I've been creating all of the floral stuff. I think my next video, I will do a WIP parade of all of my samplers, all of my reproduction samplers that I have started. And I'm going to try to finish one a year, I think is a healthy goal so that I don't get overwhelmed. This one I started forever ago, like, excuse me, years ago. And that is Merrily, Merrily We Welcome Spring. Carol just showed this completely finished on her last video for her Blackbird, this Ode to Blackbird, or her Blackbird WIPs. Stitching it with all of the called for threads, very classic Blackbird colors. I have it in my Blackbird Designs bag. Love it. And this is on 36 count Oaken by Picture This Plus, and I just have a tiny start. I love those colors. They're baked apple and all the colors that they use in that, just sing on that linen. Oh, my spring WIP rotation might have to be a couple months this year. Loving it. Okay, this next bag, I have no idea what's in it. This is in my Granny Chic by Lori Holt with a cute little matching zipper pull. And let's see what's in here. Oh, that's right. And a matching needle minder. Isn't that cute? Love it. Okay. This is Manor at Quaker Hill, and I would really like to get this one finished because hopefully this summer they will release the retreat piece that Brenda did last year for an exclusive retreat. and it had swans in it as well. So they would be really cute on the wall together. And this is being stitched on 36 count. It's a Picture This Plus, I believe it's Legacy. And there is my little start, but I love those florals. So pretty, super, super pretty. Yeah, I believe that's 36 count Legacy by Picture This Plus. Got a couple more. Maybe I should do a whole spring year this year. This one is a start I would like to make. I do not have a start on this. This is just one I have kitted up. This is Rejoice Evermore. I love those tulips. This little band right here. Oh, so pretty. And that one's just a kitted up project. I don't even have the floss. Oh, I do. It's on the floss ring. There's all the called for threads. Look at those pretty blues. There's even a purple in there. So I don't know if I'll start that though. I should probably work on some WIPs instead of starting a new project. But I do have this housed in my French General bag. And to match the butterflies that are on, this is the line that I had put on the back of my love pillow. So this is the same fabric line, but I've got a little zipper pull here, Lori Holt zipper pull to match. Super pretty. Oh, I love that project. Another project that I want to start, I have it kitted up. It is a monochromatic stitch, and of course I'll be stitching it for my bedroom. Another gingham bag from her Farm Girl Vintage book. And this chart I saw Brenda Holzman start for her one thread a day, and I absolutely fell in love with it. It is just beautiful, very classy. Rhapsody in Blue, and it is an out of print chart. It's by Four Oaks Designs. I found this on eBay, and I am going to start it whenever I choose to. It could be a year from now, but I have it all kitted up with a yummy piece of antique lace by Seraphim, and I'm going to use Chester's Blue. I think that those look great together. So when I'm ready for a new monochromatic that is all kitted and ready for me. Sorry for the rustling. Couple more. So this is a Threads That Bind by Blackbird Designs bag, matching flower zipper pull, again by Lori Holt, Be My Bonnet. And this one is a tiny start. I started this last year on Spring Equinox with Michelle from Cozy Egg. Absolutely love this pattern. And I love the little robins on the top of the house making a nest. And I just have a tiny start. I am stitching this on, I think I remember what happened on this one. I started it, and then I realized that my piece of linen wasn't big enough for where I had started the piece. So I had to unpick everything and restart it. And then I kind of lost my desire to start again. Look at that. That's a huge start. Just like, what, 20 stitches in there? But I wanted to start it so that I could say that I started it with her. And I'm excited to get back to this. I'm stitching with all of the called for threads. I think though, the flowers in the border are pink, and I might change them to a blue. I haven't completely decided on that one though. I do like the pinks in this, so I might just carry on with it the way it is. And then I have one more, and this one I really, really need to get back to. And I'm stitching this with Adele from Smurfette Stitches. We started this, I think, when the pandemic started. So I really need to get back to it. I'm stitching with all the called for threads. And we've both already completed one side and melded off to the other. So I've stitched half and she stitched half, and I have joined my two pieces of linen. So this, everything that is stitched on this side, Adele has stitched, and she has a matching piece at her house across the pond. And then I have just started with the cartouche here and what are the berry baskets, berry bowls. So I really want to get back to that. It's very spring and summery. So that is, what do you guys think I should work on? I definitely should work on the berry bowl because, you know, Dave Ramsey, he would tell me that I needed to work on the things that were the closest to being finished, right? But I need to decide what I want to work on out of my spring whips, and I just thought that would be fun to do a little whip parade. I also have some charted up spring Easter projects that I want to start. I've got them here in my berry bag from Stitch Folk. This was a gift from my friend Laura, and I love it so much. I've got a few kitted up in here. I've got 'Tis Spring by With Thy Needle. It's all kitted up with the called for threads and linen. Another one is The Rabbit and the Rose by Brenda Gervais. Kitted up. This is Velvet Parsnip Needle Book by Stacy Nash. I would love to stitch this after I've got Maggie May done. And that is Harrison. He's so cute. I've got Birds of a Feather Needle Book all kitted up and ready to go. And with the called for threads. Very springy. And then the last one I have in here is Velvet Carrot Needle Book, and that is by Stacy Nash. And it's all kitted up, ready to go. I got this kit from Farm Girl. So that is, I mean, I have, a girl's got to have options, and I definitely have those. So I'm excited for that. I received some Happy Mail from the Fat Quarter Shop that I want to share with you. And then my daughter made me a cute little gift, and I want to share that with you as well. She's been into crafting lately. So from Fat Quarter Shop, they sent some awesome charts. This is from It's So Emma. It's a cute little postage stamp daisies. And then this is a chart, a quilt pattern by It's So Emma. All American. That is super cute. I love those houses. And this one's super cute. 'Tis the Season, little gingerbread. That is adorable. Love, love, love this. Vintage Sampler Cross Stitch by Lori Holt of Be My Bonnet. And the original is hung up in the guest room in her home. And so when I get to be a guest there, I always sleep under this chart. And then they sent this awesome, awesome book stand. And I love these. I have one in now both of my sewing rooms, and these are awesome. They're invaluable. I use this every day as I sew. And you could put, it's metal, so you could put your needle minders on there. And so you could use this for cross stitch as well. In the denim, the new denim color is just beautiful. So thank you, Fat Quarter Shop. Love it. And then my daughter, she has gotten on to, she has caught the crochet bug. And so she crocheted me a giant tomato for my sewing room. It's so cute. I don't know where the pattern's from. I think it was just a free pattern that she found on the internet, but super cute. And I'm just going to display it right there on my table. So I thought that was a fun accessory to my sewing room. And so thank you, Haley. So cute. I just absolutely love it. Until next time, I hope that you are getting spring weather and enjoying your stitching and just creating all the things. Until next time, happy stitching, everyone.